Welcome back to the 2 Minute Warning, episode 282. Doing a preview of this weekend's Saturday night matchup between the Buffalo Bills and Baltimore Ravens. But first off, the question of the day, again, the answer will be revealed at the end of the video. The Bills once went to 4 consecutive Super Bowls in 1991, 1992, 1993, and 1994, led by which quarterback? Again, answer at the end of the video. But again, Jay, Baltimore Ravens, Lamar got his first playoff win, advanced past Indianapolis, now going to Buffalo. Who's going to take this game?
You know, it's great to see not only to take away the fact that Lamar Jackson got his first playoff win. I don't want to say played amazing because he had about, 170 passing yards and 1 interception. But he played amazing through the run game, and that's really what his
that's what he does.
Success comes from. So I can't knock him too much on the passing game because that's not what he relies on completely. But another factor to consider is the Baltimore Ravens just absolutely shutting down the best running back in the league. And then on the other side of the football, the Buffalo Bills not even having a reputable starting running back. Yes, Devin Singletary is a known name, and yes, he has talent, but really, he's not on the same par as Derrick Henry by any means. And for the Baltimore Ravens to hold Derrick Henry to under 50 yards, you'd think by just using common sense they'd be able to hold Devin Singletary to under 8 yards at that point. So it's going to be a very heavy passing game for the Buffalo Bills. Not that that's a surprise. Even if this Baltimore defense wasn't going to lock down their run game, their passing game is what they execute at. Another thing to consider is the fact that it might snow in this game at Buffalo. Not that it's really a game changer completely on who's a better team, but Lamar Jackson's never played in the snow before. However, when it snows, we know it's a lot easier to just run the ball rather than pass it down the field. The ball's going to be slippery, it's going to be wet, it's going to be hard, it's going to be harder to catch, harder to see, etc., etc. So that might be forcing a run game because it's already in your hands, you already know where you're going, it's easier to see, it's not flying through the air in the snow. So forcing a run game could be a benefit to Lamar Jackson. Like I just said, that's what he's good at, and the Buffalo Bills, that is not what they're good at, and the Ravens are good at stopping that. So that is definitely a good factor for the Baltimore Ravens if it snows. Not that that's a huge factor. It could just, flurry a little bit and not be a factor at all. However, looking at the passing game, it's not even comparable. Josh Allen is arguably MVP this year, and if not, he's at least in the MVP conversation. Lamar Jackson, reigning MVP, huge first playoff win for both guys. However, I like the home team here. I like Brian Dable, the Bills' offensive coordinator, to possibly go on and win a Super Bowl. Josh Allen to win a Super Bowl. I think they can knock off the Chiefs. However, of course, they have to get through Baltimore first. If the Baltimore Ravens pulled off the upset, will I be surprised? Absolutely not. I do think the Buffalo Bills are the better team. However, we did see them struggle last week against the Colts. Not in a way that they struggled, but having a 27-24 game and Josh Allen almost having a 26-yard sack turned into a 26-yard sack and fumble recovered by the Colts completely changed our outcome, and we wouldn't possibly even see the Bills in this game this week if it weren't for just one different play in the Buffalo game. So arguably you could say the Bills barely got past the Colts, and really I think the Ravens are a much better team than the Colts, so they could struggle this week. But I just think Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills will be able to execute the lethal passing game and make Lamar have to catch up and play from behind. Yes, I know a lot of people say he's not good from behind, and he just came back behind from a 10-point comeback deficit to the Tennessee Titans and ended up winning. However, the Buffalo Bills are not the Tennessee Titans. It's a complete different team and a much better passing team. And I think Lamar Jackson could have trouble if he falls behind against Buffalo for sure.
I think the Ravens have a very good chance of winning this football game. Again, the biggest issue, you brought it up, is the run game. Nyheim Hines and Jonathan Taylor, both very, very similar stats last weekend against the Colts. Each ran for Hines ran for 75 yards. Jonathan Taylor ran for 78 and a touchdown. The Bills allowed the Colts running backs to run over them pretty well. The Bills struggled with run defense, so that's going to be big in this game where Baltimore is bringing a quarterback that lives off of that, a running back in Gus Edwards that had a good season, and then, of course, I'm drawing a blank. J.K. Dobbins, who is emerging as a great player as well. So I think that's a key for the Ravens. The way the Colts played defense against the Bills last week, more of a zone defense, gave room for Stephon Diggs to get open. Obviously had a big game, big connection there with Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs. Was it Gabriel Davis that had a couple good catches on the sideline? So the Bills were able to relatively easily throw the football. I think the Ravens definitely have a better secondary led by Marcus Peters. I think they're going to play better man coverage, so that'll pose an issue for the Bills. And then, of course, the Bills struggle with the run game simply because their starter was hurt, and even before that, they did not run the ball very well. So I think where the Ravens have an advantage is on the ground, especially if it snows. I think it's easier to run the ball in the snow than it is to throw the ball. And then on defense specifically, run defense especially, we saw what they did to Derrick Henry And then if the Bills don't bring a plus runner, then who knows what's going to happen there. And then Cole Beasley, still an issue, possibly dealing with a knee injury, limited in practice this week. Caught 7 balls against the Colts. Did a pretty good job. But of course, that's a big factor also. But I think if I had to put money on this game, I think I'm gonna go with the Ravens.
Yeah, I mean, side note of that is also the fact that the Ravens secondary is very stacked up between Marlon Humphreys, Marcus Peters, Jimmy Smith. Yeah, they've been a little banged up through the season, but those are big names, big guys, big presences on that defense that we haven't seen really anyone take out Stephon Diggs this year. However, I've said this in a previous video, if they can even just about Devontae Adams or Jalen Ramsey, if Jalen Ramsey can even limit Devontae Adams, that's a win for the Rams. And even if the Ravens could just limit Stephon Diggs to about even 80 yards and 1 touchdown, that's a win for the Ravens defense. Usually the dudes in the past 5-6 games had 130 yards and at least 1 or 2 touchdowns each game and 12 receptions. If you can hold them to 6 receptions, 70 yards, 1 touchdown, you win on the Ravens defense. The pass rush is hit or miss, just like the Bills. But however, having a great captain and leader and 6'8" monster Calais Campbell on that Ravens pass rush, it could be a problem for Josh Allen, especially if it's snowing and the Bills are going to be dropping back a lot. They're going to have a big guy coming after them. I think it's really going to come down to just who plays better. Lamar Jackson or Josh Allen, both trying to fight for their second playoff wins. It's going to be determining what the scenery is. If it's snowing a lot, I really do agree with Carson that I'm going to have to go with the Ravens. But if it's normal conditions, I think Josh Allen can beat him through the year for sure.
Yeah, Josh Allen definitely, in my opinion, the better quarterback. I think a key for the Bills, of course, they're going to be at home. That Bills Mafia, however many fans they allow, I think that'll be a big
I heard
difference.
It's about the same capacity, so right around 7,000,
6,700, whatever it was last game. And then, of course, I think the best runner the Bills has is Josh Allen. If they can utilize him, QB sneaks, whatever. He's a bigger guy. What is he, 6'4"?
I think he might be 6'5".
Maybe 6'5", 6'6", whatever he is. He can run the ball. He put up 50-something rush yards against the Colts. So that's going to be a key. And then, of course, that connection between him and Stephon Diggs has yet to really been shut down all year. And I expect if that shows up again this weekend, the Bills can find their way to the win. But again, I think I still have to go with the Ravens if I have to bet money.
Yeah, I think I'm going to roll the Bills, but I don't think either of us would be surprised no matter who wins.
Right. Great game. Great matchup. All right, for question of the day, the quarterback played 11 seasons with the Bills, including those 4 Super Bowl appearances and 4 losses, and that quarterback is Jim Kelly. Again, thanks for watching, guys. 2 minutes.